Grandma and Grandpa, I'm sorry. Back in the 2000s, my grandparents bought a big house in the mountains. I loved going there for the summers even though I had no friends there. Everyone was just so weird they stayed inside their homes, rarely going out. As a child, my grandma would say they were working from home and that the children studied at home all day, even summers. I believed her as a little child, but when I was a teenager, I started being suspicious of my grandmother's lies. My mother told me to stop doubting my gran and just believe it. I let it go. One summer when I was 15, me and my siblings were staying over for a week. Grandpa sat us down in the living room. All right, kids. Since you guys don't really know the house or the village rules, I'll tell you, he said something like that in a very cold tone as we never slept over before. My parents never let us stay longer than 8 p.m. I wonder why. My grandpa started listing the rules. Never stay out past 8 p.m. If you see someone in the village who isn't wearing a red shirt, immediately go to the closest church and dip your hands in holy water. Every night before 11 p.m. you must lock the windows and cover them and never look out. You're free to go outside and unlock your windows from 7 a.m. I wrote down every rule to remember them. I thought of the second rule a lot. Why do they have to wear a red shirt? As curious I went out every day till 8 p.m. and only came back for lunch looking for people not wearing red shirts or just people. I didn't see anyone. I never did. I even looked inside the windows to see if anyone was even home. I never saw anyone. At the third day of searching for people, I got bored of it. I decided to go to the nearby forest. It had a beautiful small river. As it was 6 p.m., I started to make my way out of the forest, panicking why I couldn't find my way out. I felt like I was going in circles. Then I saw a woman wearing a black dress making strange sounds. I wanted to go up to the woman and ask how to get out, but I remembered the second rule. As she started approaching, I saw my way out of the forest and ran as fast as I could. I made it out, the woman still following me with fast steps. I ran to the church as she gets faster and faster crawling on the ground. I had no thoughts, just that I need to go to the church. Once I was there, I dipped my hands in holy water, then I checked my phone for the time. 7 p.m. I panicked as our house was far away. I ran home and collapsed on the ground as I arrived minutes before 8 p.m. My grandfather was mad as my grandmother told me to never stay out this late as it was a close call. 2 days later, my youngest sister swallowed a toy. My grandparents went to the hospital with her as they told me and my siblings to lock all doors and windows and stay in the closet. We were very scared but brought some food and plenty of water up there and 2 buckets and pillows and blankets. As my grandparents left, we locked everything and went to the closet. We stayed quiet reading some books we found in the closest as we were too scared to talk. Eventually, my other sister fell asleep at 10 p.m. I couldn't sleep. At 10:30, I got a message from Grandma. We will be spending the night in the hospital. I read the text. Then I continued reading the romance book I found, not thinking much of it. At 11 p.m. something or someone knocked on the windows. Shit, I thought. I forgot to cover the windows. I heard a familiar voice call as the banging on the window became louder. My dears. We are home. Your sister had to spend the night at the hospital. It was my grandmother's voice. My sister woke up wanting to open the door to let them in as the banging became louder. I showed the text to my sister. She sat down worried. I'm afraid that it might be a skinwalker and that it got our grandma. I stared at her in shock as she told me more about them. Suddenly the banging stopped and we heard the door open. I think it heard us talking. I whispered as we heard it roaming through the house. We heard it approaching the stairs, so we hid behind a large amount of clothes as minutes later the creature barged into the closet. It noticed my sister's legs. The creature grabbed her legs as she screamed. I stayed silent as I saw the same woman that I did in the forest. I listened to my sister screaming and crying for help as she got dragged out of the house. I couldn't believe that my sister was gone. I didn't know what to tell my grandparents. I went to sleep. When I woke up at 8 a.m. I texted my grandma, my sister is gone. As my grandparents arrived home, we searched for her even though I knew what happened. The next day we woke up to my sister missing. We searched for both of them. Nothing. I knew it was the skinwalker disguised as that lady. I felt bad for not helping my sister. The last night I had to sleep at my grandparents arrived. It was nearly midnight as my grandparents were deep asleep. I heard my sisters cry for help. I got up and without thinking I went outside. I saw both of my sisters crawling towards me as I stared in shock, paralyzed. I realized they were skinwalkers who took the form of their last victims. My sisters. As I ran back into the house and hiding in the closet as I heard them eat my grandparents. I wasn't found. Yet.